a quote from the Science of Mind textbook about love. The essence of love, while elusive, pervades everything, fires the heart, stimulates the emotions, renews the soul, and proclaims the spirit. Only love knows love, and love knows only love. Words cannot express its depths or meanings. A universal sense alone bears witness to the divine fact: God is love, and love is God. I mentioned in the newsletter summary for this talk that while the love found in human relationships is desired by most people on the planet at some time in their life, it can be a challenge to maintain long-term, intimate associations and deep-meaning friendships. It takes effort and attention, and a whole lot more. We'll be looking at love for others in a talk coming up soon. Today, however, we're focusing on recognizing God love. What is it? As it applies to each of us, to you and to me. And as Holmes described in the reading I just shared, God is love, and love is God. This is love with a capital L. And it can still take effort and attention to oneself. It's not only what we refer to in the Science of Mind philosophy as a quality or characteristic of God, but love is God itself. It's the divine love that's unlimited, infinite, never judging or conditional. I liken it to the kind of love I get from my dog. No matter how poorly I might be behaving, or if I forget to feed her on time, or if I scolded her yesterday for something, she's right there, by my side, with those big dark eyes, just oozing love in my direction. So much more so that I can't help feeling sometimes that she knows more about this eternal and unconditional love than I do. She is love. She provides me a daily example of the kind of relationship I can have with God, with love itself. And I can experience it best when I remain in the present moment, the now moment of life, as much as possible. As we explore our season of love during the first quarter of the year, this month we're focusing on love of self. Both the love of your human self and love of your God self. Each person has and will always have an intimate and very personal relationship with the God of their understanding. Don't you agree? And just as we learned from the quote by Ernest Holmes, God is love and love is God, if we believe that we are made in the image and likeness of God, then we too are love at our very core. Love is equality that is part of our being, our nature, not some behavior we learn to do or expect to get. Thus, we are in deep and connected relationship with our God self every time we recognize divine love, and certainly when we express it toward ourselves and toward others in the world, our family, our friends, strangers in traffic, the clerk at the store, the homeless person on the street corner, and our dog or cat or other creatures. It starts within. It starts with you. And loving yourself unconditionally. It starts by recognizing and accepting that we came into this existence through and as a result of love. That our presence in being here, your purpose for being here, began with love and is to express love. That God self, the love you are, was given to you from the very beginning of life. You didn't have to earn it. You still don't. Love, God, is always present in you, around you. All you need to do is to stay connected, to tap into that divine source of all love, all life. And when you do, with love, all things are possible. Whatever we can think of, be, or do, when powered by, with, and through love, Holmes tells us our prayers are answered and the gift of heaven is made. The gift of heaven is life and not death, love and not hate, peace and not confusion. He goes on by saying, and we enter into this paradise through the gateway of love toward one another and toward God. Love is greater than all else and covers a multitude of mistakes. Love overcomes everything and neutralizes all that is unlike itself. Love is God. Like many other qualities of God, love is always present, always available. You can never run out of love. You can never stop its presence unless you stop the flow, for whatever reason. God is always present in your life. Love is always present in your life. It's your responsibility to be open to it, open to God, to love, and to allow it to express through you. I know there are times when we can feel like there's no love in our life, in our relationships, in our jobs, or interactions with people. I would tell you with the utmost belief, in those moments when you can't feel or see love in your world, it's because you have disconnected yourself from the God source. You have pulled the plug from the wellspring of eternal love. And all you need to do is to plug back in. Sounds simple enough, right? But what happens? We let things like resentment get in the way. We decide we just can't forgive that person or ourselves for something that happened when we were a child or a teenager or a young adult or something that happened this morning. Through our thinking patterns and repeating old stories of hurt and heartache, we focus our attention on all the details of why we need to stay separated from that person, physically, emotionally, psychically, or in any other way we can think of, to justify staying stuck in our pain. In doing this, we put a wall between the love expression of who we are and the possibility of being a healing presence in the world. What would God do? For that matter, what would my dog do? I'm not saying that you need to be best buddies with someone who is responsible for some kind of devastation occurring in your life. You don't need to go to lunch with the person or have them over for tea. Set your boundaries, yes. But as long as you continue to hold them in your mind and your heart with any kind of bitterness or unforgiveness, you will continue to be in some kind of pain or heartache. And that can be a sad way to live. I know from personal experience. Love is forgiving. Love is for healing. Love is for expressing. Because that is truly who you are. You are love. While it may be difficult to think of someone who has caused you great pain with any kind of love, what I'm suggesting is that you recognize the God self of that person. Connect in prayer with the love essence of that person. They are just like you. Created just like you from the very beginning. And go through whatever forgiveness process you can release them from the weight in your mind and being. Let them go with love and make room for better relationships and experiences in your life. Give yourself some space for growth. As long as you allow that resentment and pain to take up residence in your heart and mind, there won't be much room for joy or love or connection and other good to come in. I want to mention here that Reverend Marilyn will be offering a forgiveness workshop in February the 15th. We're working out the details now. So if you have anything that is still holding you back from a richer, fuller, more loving life, you might consider attending that workshop to work through and release those blocks to fuller expression and living. Alexander Smith said, "Love is but the discovery of ourselves in others and the delight in the recognition." Living a life from your God self, your love self, might seem scary at first, especially with other humans who aren't quite as conscious about all this as you are. It can mean being vulnerable. It can mean tapping into your courage of defining more clearly what your beliefs are, what your values are, what your boundaries are. Yet when your primary focus is on the relationship you have with the divine, your God-love self, truly none of the rest is as important in the eternal realm of life. Your God-self relationship is priority one. During the recent holiday conversations, my husband and I were calculating how long we've been together. In August of this year coming up, we'll mark 20 years since we met. That's a huge milestone for both of us. I love my husband more than any man on this planet. And as I'm sure he'll tell you, our relationship with each other, as much as we love each other, is secondary to the one we each have with our God self. And yet, because of the effort that each of us goes to strengthen and deepen our individual God self connections, that is exactly what grows our bond to one another with more love and respect and commitment in this physical realm. The metaphysical aspect of love connects us beyond the physical bound. The God essence that we strive to understand and expand through who we are connects us at a consciousness level that is eternal and infinite, that is love, that is God. It's that connection that guides us through those difficult moments and misunderstandings and all those discussions, that allows us to forgive easily and effortlessly, to let go of the hurts through talking them out honestly, lovingly, respectfully. Reg Goff said, "Love is the desire to bless with everything you have." And no, it's not always easy. But it's getting easier for me to see whether I'm in the moment or reviving some past hurt to inflict more pain. Whether I'm coming from my God love center or from ego, naggy. And to consciously decide how I want to express the person I can be in that moment. It's a choice. My desire is to take that understanding about my spiritual connection with Mike and apply it to every human relationship I have. To bless everyone in all situations with everything I have and am. And there's the challenge. The world wasn't built just for me or for you. It's one thing to be able to work side by side with one person and grow together for 20 years to finally to get this awareness of each other and the divine nature of who we are to one another in this thing called life, and then translate that to everyone we meet with the same forgiveness and acceptance on a daily basis. Can you see the test it can be to our thinking? This struggle has been going on throughout the humanity. There's a story about Ptolemy, ruler over Egypt. who was severely criticized because he treated prisoners and enemies of war too easily, because he did not destroy them, as was the custom. He retorted, "What? Do I not destroy my enemies when I befriend them?" The world may yet come to realize that the only way to destroy enemies is to destroy hostility. There are no enemies where love reigns. An enemy has no power over you unless you let him shut your consciousness off from the current of God's love that is seeking free expression through you. So I keep practicing and invite you to do the same with all the people in your life. Let's do it for each other. It is so important to stay connected to the love center of who you truly are and stay in the now moment. Staying connected to your God center at all times can be a monumental task. I know my dog has a better handle on living in the now moment than I do, and being love at all times. She's a great reminder. Eric Butterworth wrote, "Love isn't something you do. Love is being. Love is not trying. Love is being. Love is not finding the right person. It is becoming the right person." Other than my dog, I found a few examples of what other authors and teachers say what love is. See if any of these resonate with you. Love is the strongest force the world possesses, and yet it is the humblest imaginable. Love is friendship set to music. Love is a fruit in season at all times and within reach of every hand. Love is a game that two can play and both win. Love is the true means by which the world is enjoyed, our love to others and others' love to us. People think love is an emotion. Love is good sense. Divine love is impersonal. It loves for the sake of loving. It is not concerned with what or who it loves, nor with the return of love. Like the sun, its joy is in the shining forth of its nature. Last week I made a request of several people, practitioners and student practitioners, to pray for our students in this new term, to focus in consciousness on those baby souls and their budding willingness to explore their own higher consciousness through the science of mind philosophy. There has been such an outpouring of love and connection from everyone involved. And no one particular person has been mentioned by name. It doesn't matter. Love is ever present, infinite, and powerful. All the students are being showered in the God presence that is love. It comes right back to you. What you give, you get. And it starts with you, from you, through you. I invite you to give some thought to what divine love is for you. How does it express through you? And are you aware of it when it does? Will you grow that kind of love expression in your life to even greater levels of connection? Are you willing to release and heal whatever is blocking you from doing so that you can more fully express and be recognized as your God self, as love? I'm going to close with a short story that speaks to being love in every situation. A woman in Pittsburgh opened a restaurant and a candy shop in a place where two owners had failed miserably before her. She was a brilliant success. When asked how she had succeeded in the same business where others had failed, she said, "I just loved and blessed all my customers. I love them all as Jesus taught us to do. I love the complaining man as well as the satisfied customers. When customers leave my place, I do not only invite them to come back, I silently send them a blessing of love and pray for their prosperity and happiness. When no customers are in the store, I bless the people with love as they pass by on the street. Mahatma Gandhi said, to be the change you wish to see in the world. Let's modify that, to be the love you wish to see in the world. And see what happens when we do that. My wishing card for you every day is one of blessings, love, and light. Will the practitioners please come forward?